So, you're a weeb and you want to be Nihongo Jozu. You want to understand what your waifu is saying without looking at the subtitles. You want to read the manga in Japanese before the official English translations that take forever or might never happen. Is it even possible to learn Japanese using manga or anime? Then you have come to the right place. I am your average senpai, and this is how I learned Japanese at different levels as a weeb. You cannot learn Japanese using just anime or manga. Just like everything else in life, the reality is boring. You have to start from the basics. You need to memorize all the hiragana and katakana characters to be in the game. Learn how to pronounce them and write it down for the first few days of your journey. After that, you can start learning Japanese grammar and vocabulary. From my own experience, I found that getting a textbook really helped with my understanding. There are 5 levels of JLPT, with N5 being the easiest one and N1 being the most difficult level. N5 is really simple, but it is also the most important one. It is the foundation of Japanese learning and you want to make it strong. If you have been watching anime for a while, you might be able to breeze through N5. When I started out, I only used a few days to master the content of N5 because I have been exposed to anime since I was a kid. I have seen most of the N5 vocabulary before, and I quickly moved on to N4, which is slightly more difficult. At this level, I wouldn't recommend you to read any manga in Japanese yet. I recommend you to download the textbook so you can read it on your daily commute or when you are taking a N3 is where you will learn Japanese used in everyday situations. This is when things start to get challenging, but it's also when you can start reading manga in Japanese, especially in the romance or slice of life genres. Some of the more recent manga I would recommend are Blue Box and The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. Most of the romance manga use everyday Japanese that is easy to understand. There is also furigana beside the kanji characters, which is extremely helpful. The stories are really cute and wholesome as well, so I think that's a bonus. By the way, I like to refer to English translations whenever I'm reading manga in Japanese, even to this day. This method speeds up your learning 10 times faster and you still get to enjoy the story. You can remember the words and grammar better because you see how it is actually applied. However, if I were at N3, I would avoid reading shonen action manga like One Piece because it has too many words and the Japanese they use are not really relevant in real life. If you're watching anime, you can pay attention to what kind of word form they're using in what kind of situations. You can also turn on the Japanese subtitle after reading it in English if you're on Netflix, for example. Voice actors have some of the clearest pronunciation you can find on the internet. You can slow them down whenever you want, and I find this to be a great way to practice my Japanese listening skill. This is when you have no problem understanding 90% of the Japanese in manga and anime. At this level, you can enjoy so much more content. For example, you can watch the stage event in Japan or interviews where the voice actors talk about their experience during the recording and what they felt about the story, the characters, and more. You can also read long paragraphs from anime magazines or social media to understand more about the series you like, but personally, I wouldn't recommend reading light novels in Japanese unless you're very confident in your reading speed. The reality is, no matter how much Japanese you have learned from anime and manga, you will never be fluent in Japanese speaking if you don't use it in real life. That is what I realized when I went to Japan for the first time earlier this year. I could understand what the staff were saying, but I couldn't reply fast enough. My ultimate goal is to be so fluent that they think I am actually Japanese. So the question is, how do you get fluent? I like to repeat the lines in the anime. This is a good way to build out your muscle memory. You know, the speed, the pitch accent are really important when you're speaking Japanese. For example, if you want to say I ate curry, which is kare wo tabeta. Instead, you say it as kare wo tabeta, which is I ate him. This is why you need to get it right. When I'm on the go, I like to listen to anime radio to learn how the Japanese would actually speak to each other. It is a good way as the pronunciation of the voice actors is very clear and you know the context of the anime. I also practice by thinking and describing what I'm doing in Japanese sometimes, and I will look at the words if I'm not sure how to say it. With all the resources on the internet right now, it has never been more convenient to master a language. I started learning Japanese during COVID when I had so much free time, but any time is a good time to start. Every small step counts. The earlier you start, the earlier you can master Japanese. If you are truly a weeb by heart, I challenge you to learn Japanese and you can share your progress with me anytime. This is literally my #1 most requested video and I really hope it is helpful. Please share any tips that you have in the comments below so that the community can benefit from your experience. Thank you for watching and I will see you in my next one. Bye!